wonder why marketing department and marketing professionals are, I don't know, annoying or, not as good as they think they are or even necessary? Today, we're going to talk about what really goes on in marketing and the marketing department. My name is Michael Denisoff. I've really worked my entire professional career to help organizations perform better and have great and robust cultures. And this is Work Trauma, how corporations really work. On tonight's program, marketing, marketing, marketing. And I know I'm going to get some letters from some marketing people. But the good thing about those letters that will probably be complaining about me picking on marketing is they'll be very influential. They'll be very neat. They'll have the right Pantone colors, and they'll be on point in terms of brand integrity. So let's talk about marketing and the mysterious thing we call marketing. Now, I'm not here to bag on marketing professionals. Well, not too much, unless they deserve it. Okay. And some of it's going to be fun and in good humor. So please take it in that good humor. But I do want to get you insights into these departments because marketing has a lot to do how businesses are run, has a lot to do where businesses spend their money. So I want to go beyond the obvious of, well, marketing are just terrible people who manipulate you to buy things that you don't really want. Or, marketing people are not really known for their ethics. Let's put that to the side and let's talk about what marketing is. All right. Couple things you need to know about marketing. Generally, it's the largest budget in the organization. Marketing gets a lot of money. So there's some prestige and there's some flair with that. So that's a good start. And also it helps you understand why marketing professionals are who they are. The other thing with marketing, it's they're the biggest recipient of the halo syndrome. A marketing person does a marketing program and it does well. And all of a sudden, they are a guru of marketing that they could do no wrong. And sometimes, quite frankly, it's because they got lucky or the situation was such that it was a good program and the situation kind of worked for them. Not necessarily because they're great marketers, right? I'll never forget this in terms of the halo syndrome. I was working with a friend on a project, and he was at this big time marketing ad agency. And I went to go see his offices. It was really amazing. It was just when the offices were starting to look industrial. It was really nice industrial, and everybody had the open concept. So all the companies were out in the open. But in the middle of this open concept was this beautiful, like almost palatial office. And I said, "Oh, who's that? Oh, that is so and so." And they come up with this new program, and it's going to be the biggest thing. And the client paid millions of dollars for it. I can't tell you what it is because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But this person got a lot of money for this program that I saw on TV about 2 weeks and never heard about it again. And actually, I was researching this episode, and it was very, very hard to find it. So, but why did that person get that? Oh, because they came up with this idea, and the client loved the pitch, and it went nowhere. Happens in marketing all the time. All right. Another challenge with marketing, too, is that if you look at a marketing plan and a strategic plan, particularly how it's taught in MBA schools today, they're really similar. So they're almost interchangeable for the most part. I would say the strategic plan is more to it, but it really parallels the marketing plan. So again, you're seeing this elevation of marketeers, and that's why most marketeers feel like they're the prince and princesses of the organization. Like they're just a little bit more special than you. And often CEOs, particularly if they're marketing CEOs, former marketeers, they particularly, go heavy and lean on the marketing. The finance people do too. The finance, CEO types also rely on marketing because the finance people can't be creative or often not creative. So you have this, like in all organizations, you have this pecking order. You have the CEO, and then you usually have marketing and finance kind of vying for who's number two, all the way down to, I don't know, accounting and HR. Got to get letters on that too. But let's just be honest how it is. I'm here to say how organizations work, not if they're good or bad. And that's what happens. So you have this very much elevated kind of sense of importance with marketing people. All right. So one of my biggest issues with marketing people is they're kind of interchangeable. They're kind of all average in that sense, right? And it's not. And I'm not saying they're as human beings they're average. I'm saying the way they market are average, right? And I know there's some great marketers out there who really stand apart. But a lot of them are just kind of just average and they're interchangeable. So you have to ask, well, why is this the case? Well, the reason why this is the case is because the best marketing people generally come from the top tier MBA programs like a Wharton or a College, right? And they come there and they have a focus on marketing on their MBA, and then they go work, I don't know, like at a P&G for a year and a half, and then they dub themselves marketing experts, right? And this is generally how it flows. And then what's funny about that is though, because of this path, they kind of study the same models, they study the same gurus, they study the same processes, and they do tons of case studies that they admire. And so you have this kind of, this amalgamation of this kind of okay ideas that just kind of come out. So it's nothing really brilliant. So that's why when you do see something that's really brilliant, right? Let's say even a commercial at the Super Bowl, because they're getting less brilliant as time goes on over the last 20 years, it really stands out because most of them are like, yeah, kind of saw that before. Yeah, saw that, whatever. So again, generally the market people are trained the same. They talk the same language. They use the same models, and they kind of copy each other. I think most marketing people will say, well, we really like that. Let's do our version of that. And you see that a lot, just even when you watch commercials. And so what happens with marketing, when in doubt, what do marketing people do? Well, they go to, their standbys. One of the biggest standby is BOGO. Buy one, get one free, or what do? They go, man, we're really struggling. What do we need to do? Well, we need a contest or a giveaway. It'd be really good. Oh, that's original. Or what might they do? I don't know. They might get like a famous actor or actress, or influencer to help them out, thinking that will be the panacea to make up for all their marketing averageness. So we see a lot of these kind of this typical things, these myriad of other things that are done over and over. And you're like, man, why are marketing people considered the most innovative and the most creative? Well, really, if you look at a lot of the marketing in this world, it's the same stuff over and over, the tired trope spread out over and over, due in part again, because it's kind of this echo chamber among themselves. All righty. So that's why you get marketers who they are. Again, not bad people, not bad humans being doing great stuff, but the way they're trained kind of turned them into interchangeable and average. Now, next up, let's talk about marketing function in an organization. So if you meet a marketer, you're going to think, man, that person's really optimistic or they're full of hooey, right? You don't really know for sure because, wow, are they positive or they just selling something? And that's why, my experience has been when I've been in a lot of the executive meetings, there's three things I generally see when marketing presents at the executive, strategy or yearly or biannual meeting. The first thing is things are great. According to marketing, things are always great. Even when things are bad, according to marketing, things are great. And I've said in meetings where like the company's on fire, but marketing tells us everything's great. Okay. So I see that a lot. Secondly, and close to that is the future's so bright, man. I gotta wear shades, man. We have this new promotions. We have this new talent we're citing. We have this new campaign. Insert campaign here. We have all the answers. Everything's gonna be great. This next quarter it's gonna turn around. So I'm like, that's kind of crazy. And the third thing I always see with marketing people at these the executive meetings is that really their PowerPoint slides are beautiful. They're amazing. They're very colorful. They have animation. They have sound. They're really great. And sometimes I feel it's overcompensating for actually good depth of ideas. But everybody seems to be very impressed with them always, which makes me wonder. I think they're spending too much time on them. So yeah. So when you talk to marketers, they generally are always like, oh, here's a new category. It's looking good in this category, or we're feeling very positive about exploring this new market, and it should be great. Or we're excited again about this new upcoming. I know last year's programs weren't that great, marketing campaigns weren't that great. This year, we really got it now. And you kind of hear this stuff. By the way, that costs a lot of money to the company. A lot of companies really don't do the diligence in terms of accountability to the marketing programs, which is one of the big misses we find in corporate America. Part of it is because marketing is hard. It's a very noisy world out there. And you're moving so fast. So you're on to the next thing because you're really worried about the numbers. Oh, that didn't work. What can we try now? So I think that's a part of it. But I think the stuff that people have a hard time with, the marketing people seem to have all the answers all the time. And rarely are they held accountable for the answers and what really happened, because it's really not great to look back. So we're painting this picture of what's really going on here in marketing. couple other things I got to add to the marketing piece part of it, right? Is marketing people, and sometimes they spend a lot of time on low value stuff. For example, one of my biggest pet peeves with marketing is the bug police. You know, we have to have logo. The logo has to be this. We have brand guidelines, and we have to have brand integrity, and we have to keep the look and feel. I don't disagree with any of that. Of course you do. You got to be doing that. But if your VP of marketing thinks that that is their most important job, you got marketing problems, man. Okay. And I've done this. I was at a large organization where they had a marketing. That's all they would do. They would about brand integrity. What a brand. Can't put the brand here. Make sure you don't put that on a t-shirt. Make sure you don't put it there. It's supposed to be at least 6 centimeters away from this. And I'm like, is this the best thing you could do as a VP of marketing? So we see that a lot, for sure. The other thing too, that marketing people do that make me giggle is they'll argue about things that are really, again, not high value add. I've seen marketing people, and by the way, I've had a round or two in marketing, so I've seen it. But they'll have arguments about what picture to use. Now, you want to choose the right picture. You want to do some A/B testing, of course you do. But they'll spend days on the right picture, or what Pantene blue should we use for this? 142 or 143? Oh my God, I don't know. And it becomes this big thing. I'm like, well, I'm the brilliant one, so I think it's 145. Well, we solved their problems. It's there's a lot of this energy on what Nietzsche would call life is nothing more than a discussion between taste and tastefulness. So we're like, is that really the better picture? Now, certainly there's bad Pantones and bad pictures you can use, but at some point it's really diminishing returns. All right. It feels important, I know, to them when they work on this. So now we're building this, and then go back to this lack of accountability, right? This lack of accountability really hurts marketing and marketing professionals because, again, a lot of times the organization is going so fast, they don't really want to hold them accountable. Plus, they're the kind of the prince and princesses of the organization, and they don't really want to look back. But what I found for marketers, kind of like politicians, when sales are good and revenue is high, marketing takes all the credit. It's marketing's fault. Yes, these marketing campaigns really came through this year. It's really fantastic. But when revenue goes down, marketing has all the excuses you can imagine, right? And there's usually a litany of them. To name a few, the economy's down. Really? Because your competitor is good in the economy's down. What else? Oh yeah, there's changes in the sensibilities. So I've been reading a lot of the articles with them. Demographics are changing. Their sensibilities, how they feel towards this stuff is changing. Again, which is true, but why didn't you see that? Why didn't you take that into consideration as a marketer? Weather. I worked with a company that sold sunglasses, and they had a really down year one time. And the reason why they had a down year, according to their CEO, because it was a really long and cloudy winter, and it was really hard to sell sunglasses. I'm like, that's the best you can come up with. Other things, of course, let's talk about the competition. Oh, there's new competition in the market. We're in big trouble. Again, which may be true, but it's not a good excuse why things are bad. Or they'll blame the salespeople. Salespeople aren't doing enough, or are myriad of excuses, right? Again, and we have great examples of that, right? The classic one is New Coke. New Coke back in the 80s was starting to get pushed by Pepsi. Pepsi was a sweeter drink, a sweeter cola, if you will. And of course, they spent millions, 20 and 30 million of dollars doing research for New Coke. And the marketing experts were for sure it was going to be the panacea cure all to all Coke's problems. And what happened? A few months later, we got rid of New Coke and we went back to classic Coke. And again, the marketers say, we did the research, we did the analytics, we know what we're doing, we're smarter than everybody else, we have this down, and they did it. Okay. And we just saw that too, in a controversial one around Bud Light. Now, this is not a political thing about it. I want to talk about this, but I'm saying from a pure marketing point of view, the head of marketing didn't really understand their market or what they were doing. There was a level of high arrogance about what they wanted to do with it, as opposed to what's going to really work for the brand. So again, this is a marketing thing. I'm not talking about ethical challenges, moral questions. That's not my purpose here. But if you just look at it honestly, that was a really bad marketing mistake. So we see this a lot. So we see this lack of accountability with the folks in marketing. And then there is the sneaky part that feels bad. The marketing sells the sizzle often without the steak, right? So it'd be nice if the steak tasted good along with the sizzle, right? And we see this a lot. We see this. I mean, think about your favorite burger joint. right? Fast food burger joint. The picture on TV looks a lot different than when it comes in when I buy it through the drive-through. Okay, that's just a typical one. It doesn't feel good, and actually, it has hurt a lot of that industry. So they're doing different things to recover from that. I remember years ago, I was working at a cellular company, and we had this amazing advertising firm, and it talked about we were a local company with local call centers, and we cared about people. And we had this nice old lady in the commercial, and she was struggling at the local call center. Local customer service helped her out, and it just wasn't true. There was nothing true about that commercial. Although that commercial made you feel warm and fuzzy inside, it just wasn't true. And I remember we got so many phone calls, particularly when that whole ad campaign or marketing campaign came out, and it said what? It said, "You are nothing like your commercials." So yeah, and of course, Gillette. I watched a Gillette commercial with the F-15, F-16 fighter pilots. I think I'm Top Gun. It didn't work that way. So I think that's why marketing kind of gets a bad rap, sometimes duly so. All right, my last story before we kind of start talking about solutions about this. I keep on saying that marketing people, they kind of say the same thing. They use the same methodology, the same models. In a previous job of mine, I was trying to open up a particular market in a new city. And the person I had there said, "Oh, she found a great marketing person who was going to help them launch the city, break open the market." And I said, "Be careful of marketing people, because marketing people talk a big story, talk a lot of things, and they often don't deliver. So make sure you vet this person really well." All right, she goes, "Oh, she's great. I love her. She's really smooth." And of course, visually, this person was very smooth, had the marketing speak down perfect. So what happens? This person comes in, interviews me for 3 ridiculous hours, asking me about what's going on. And I give her a really breakdown of the market, of the opportunities, of things that I think we should be doing, and kind of my quick take on the marketing plan. And I said to this person, "Please do not come back with the same stuff I shared with you. Please come back with new solutions, something new. That's all I ask of you." Right. And of course, we get the invoice in the mail. I have to pay this big invoice. She comes in and presents exactly what I just shared with her, this case about marketing, except it was prettier and it had fancy, rules of 7 and the life cycle of a customer and acquisition. But it was exactly what I shared with her, with exactly the solutions that I came up with. And I find the marketing people do that over and over because, again, not because they're bad people, not because there aren't best practices in marketing. It's because they kind of tend to do the same old, same old. And so to be a really good marketer, you have to kind of think differently. So, but that has happened. That whole marketing story, that was fairly recent, but it's happened. I've seen a lot in my life. All right, or my career. All right, let's talk about marketing solutions. All right, being a marketer is tough. So let me just kind of acknowledge that. It's a tough world. It's a loud, noisy world, and you're trying to break through selling your product. I get it. It's noisy. Because not only are you selling against your competition, you're selling against all the other products that are trying to get the mind share of the customer. You're also selling against, TikTok challenges and the squirrel who's riding, water skis, or the cat playing the piano. It's just noisy. So it's hard to cut through. Just know I know that. So I'm not harshing on you, but I know that. But I also know that, man, it's time to do something different in marketing. And I think the big part of it for me is kind of just to look at marketing. We talk about reimagining things and reinventing things. I think it's time for marketing to be reinvented for sure. And one solution is already in place. The advent of AI that's coming on is changing marketing. A lot of the stuff that's going on in marketing right now is being driven by AI, which is it's just exciting and scary. So I have one client right now. I'm helping them with the product line, and just for fun, I've been putting in a couple of descriptions of the product to see what their product description would look like in AI. Better than what I could have done, and I'm pretty good at it. So I think that's gonna force disruption in marketing, which I think is a good thing. I think the other thing we want to do is make sure they're steak with the sizzle. Have the marketing folks, work with the product folks to make sure that the product is good. refuse to sell an inferior product. Put the pressure on the product team, which is often a subset, sometimes of marketing, or at least close to them, because marketing will say, hey, this is what we discovered. Here's what we found in focus groups. Do a product that does this. But if the product doesn't do it, don't sell it. It's not good. So make sure there's steak with the sizzle for sure. Also, I think we need to hold marketing people just accountable for doing a good job, and kind of don't give them the prestige unless they deserve it. Just like anybody in the company, just because you're in marketing doesn't mean you're automatically something super special. I think like anybody in any company, they have to kind of prove themselves. And I think we have to look for some new. I think if I was company, I would look for some non-traditional marketers, because it's just hard to get known. I think they break out. Still disciplined in marketing, but something that's just non-traditional, so it's not the same old for sure. And then and then I would say just be more authentic in the marketing. I mean, marketing people constantly parrot, from their gurus, like, you don't decide what your brand is, the customers do. Easier said than done. Kind of believe it and go for it and be authentic about it. And yeah, let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, I think that's fine. And I think that's what we want to do with marketing. So again, um, just so you know, this is how marketing works. Now, if you want to be a marketing professional, this is great information for you now to set yourself up, set yourself at a different standard. Break some of the old paradigms that are really due to be broke. If you work in a company, now you kind of know how marketing works. So now you can expect more from them. So I hope this was helpful for you. This is Michael Denisoff on work trauma, how corporations really work. So you can make a decision about your career, how you navigate a company, and ideally become a change agent and a better leader in your organization. Have a good day.